Across continents and coastlines, in crowded cities and forgotten villages, the Daughters of Charity, together with the Vincentian family and the Famthin Homeless Alliance, have been quietly shaping a new path of change, one home at a time. From the slums of Brazil to the dusty streets of Kitale in Kenya, from Ghana's crossroads to the refugee corridors between Venezuela and Colombia. In Albania, the Daughters of Charity partnered with the Congregation of the Mission and the Sisters of St. Jane Antide Thuret in 4 different cities to build and repair houses for survivors of an earthquake. In Brazil, a single promise became a beacon of hope. The DC answered the call to build one home for a family of 8 living in a favela. But love rarely stops at one. 4 years later, and with the collaboration of the Congregation of the Mission, the Society of St. Vincent de Paul, the Vincentian Marian Youth, and the Parish of Our Lady of Mercy, they have built or renovated 23 homes. In Burkina Faso, the Daughters have not only provided long-term homes for 30 people experiencing homelessness, internally displaced women and their families, but they are also empowering them to be independent through livelihood opportunities and access to water. Similarly, for the 13 Houses Jubilee project in Cambodia, the focus of the Daughters of Charity extended from housing to clean water, education, and dignity for a marginalized rural community in the Takeo province. In Arauca, Colombia, solidarity rises even in the shadow of crisis. The Daughters of Charity, together with AIC, Young Vincentian Volunteers, the Association of the Miraculous Medal, and the Children Friends of Vicente and Luisa, offer refuge to families uprooted by poverty and conflict. 13 families now step across thresholds that provide safety, belonging, and a future. In Cali, the DC welcomed a single mother of 5 who was living in a makeshift home in a dangerous slum upon arriving in Colombia and transformed the family's situation through spiritual accompaniment, administrative counseling, and a home. In Fiji, the Daughters of Charity provided a home for a family living in vulnerable conditions. In Ghana, they spearhead the fight against human trafficking of girls through the St. Louis Vocational Training Center and their leadership of the Safe Child Advocacy Association. In Indonesia, they built 55 temporary houses for families who were displaced from 3 villages due to an earthquake and then a cyclone in the same district. In Italy, the DC provide post-acute care facilities for people experiencing homelessness who are physically fragile or severely compromised by street life conditions. In Kitale, Kenya, the Daughters opened a drop-in center, a place where meals, healthcare, and vocational training become lifelines for more than 200 young people aged over 14 living in the streets. At the center, they create a relationship of trust with the boys, and together, they find different housing solutions, either through family reunification or through individual capacity development and employment projects. In Tigio, elderly residents, some disabled, some long forgotten, received new homes with iron roofs and solid floors. In Mauritania, they have provided homes and improved livelihoods for 3 families with numerous children who used to survive living in tents. In Morocco, they built a house for a woman and her child and helped her gain access to social services. In Paraguay, the DC rallied donors and neighbors to build 13 sturdy houses for people living with Hansen's disease and women facing mental health challenges. In Russia, they support people experiencing homelessness with disabilities and released inmates in need of temporary accommodation to access benefits. In Senegal, the Daughters of Charity have built 9 new homes for families longing for safety and dignity. In South Korea, they provide temporary housing for survivors of violence and their children. In Spain, 7 apartments in Oviedo and Gijón now shelter 35 asylum seekers. In Santander, they provide temporary or transitional housing in 15 apartments for women recovering from mental health issues. In Madrid, in partnership with the City Council, the Daughters provide housing for 24 women experiencing homelessness and their families. In Seville, Proyecto Alma runs 3 sanctuary houses for 27 migrant women and their children. And in Vitoria, the Baraka project provides rental guarantees and access to homes for families fleeing violence, war, and instability. In Tunisia, the Daughters of Charity have provided housing for 2 vulnerable families. In the state of Lara, Venezuela, a single visit revealed 2 families living in a house with cracked walls which were at risk of falling. With the 13 Houses campaign, the Daughters of Charity turned that fragile shelter into a bright duplex now called Home. In Barquisimeto, the Daughters provided 3 homes, practical and safe for the families of women experiencing homelessness.
Gracias, familia Vicentina. El amor es inventivo hasta el infinito.